Well, folks, Halloween will soon be upon us, so I thought I'd shoot out something big and bold to go with the holiday. We've got the Monsters of Smoke here from Ardbeg, 3 different expressions from their core range, and I'm going to sample them and shoot them out together. So go watch the intro, come on back, and let's do something spooky and smoky. Stick around, guys. Well, hey guys, thanks for coming back after the intro. I'm Tyler, and like I said, tonight at the bar I'm taking on the Monsters of Smoke. What is the Monsters of Smoke, you might ask? Well, it is a gift set that was put out by Ardbeg to basically introduce the public to their house style and some of their core range. So it was a gift set of smaller volume bottles that you would purchase, and you would get three from the core range. You would start off with the 5-year-old wee Beastie, the Ardbeg 10-year-old, and then the Ardbeg No was included in that. So it was a great way to get people introduced to Ardbeg, or it was a great gift to present there. But you know, the real thing I wanted to kind of highlight is the marketing material that they used to promote the product. I think it was very great, very eerie, very Halloween-esque, which is the season we're in right now. So you know, what better way to kind of get into the Halloween spirit than to shoot out some of these big, bold Monsters of Smoke. So I've already poured myself a dram of each of them here, so what I'm going to do is I'll introduce them, and then I will move the bottles over here and we'll dive into the drams. So right here I've got the 5-year-old wee Beastie. So the 5-year-old wee Beastie obviously carries a age stamp of 5 years of age, comes in with an ABV of 47.4%, non-chill filtered, no color added, ex-sherry and ex-bourbon cask matured. This was actually my very first review that I did on the channel, so if you want to go back and watch that, you can go ahead. a little bit rough around the edges back then, not nearly as polished as I am now, which I'm still not super polished, but I'll put the link somewhere maybe down below, and I'll put the stamp up here or something for you guys, or the thumbnail for you guys to see it. But yeah, the Ardbeg wee Beastie was my first review on the channel, so got it right here. Next in the lineup in the middle here, we've got the Ardbeg 10-year-old, which is an Islay classic, and comes in with an age stamp of 10 years of age, 46% ABV, non-chill filtered, no color added, and 100% ex-bourbon cask matured. And this was actually episode number 9 on my channel, so another older episode. But you know, if you want to go back and check out that review, feel free. Again, put it in the description, and I'll put the thumbnail up around here somewhere for you guys to go check that out. And then we've got over here one of my personal favorites, the Ardbeg No, one of the more underappreciated in the core range, in my opinion. Comes in with no age stamp, 46.6% ABV, non-chill filtered, no color added, and the maturation piece comes in with new charred oak, XPX sherry cask, and first fill ex-bourbon casks matured. So very, very nice indeed. If you want to go check out that review, that was episode number 33, so a little later in my whiskey journey on my YouTube journey. But yeah, I reviewed all these in full, so if you're interested in going and checking those out, I'll put them all in the description. You guys can go and check those out. But yeah, we're here to shoot these out against each other, and the room is, you know, very smoky right now. Lots of aromas in here, so I'm very excited to dive in. But I'm going to start on the wee Beastie, and I'll work my way over to the No. So let's get into the wee Beastie and see what we can get on the nose. You know, this was one of the first Ardbegs I ever had, and it's, you know, is it one of my favorites still? It's not as complex as, like, you know, Ugadel or you know, Corey Reckon or the No, but I think it still has a place. It still has a place for me. Right off the get-go, some nice vanillas on there, citrus there, some oranges, some lemons, some limes. A little bit of light tobacco. You get that peat on the nose. It's not overly intense. It's more of a campfire peat. There's a little bit of light tobacco note in there as well with it. Yeah, very nice. And you get that nice salty brine sea breeze on the nose there too. So we'll go in for a sip on the 5-year-old wee Beastie and see what we can get out of it. So Slanja, to your health, and let's dive into it. Wow, haven't had it for a little bit. Much more vibrant. Got some nice legs on there too. More vibrant than I actually remember. So I'm getting those orange flavors there, those lemons, some kind of fresh, like a lemongrass on there. This nice ash, like a light tobacco campfire ash on there. Very briny. very salty on the lips. And then you kind of get some raisins on there, some of that sherry fruit. It's more prominently bourbon than it is sherry, but you get those nice little sherry notes at the end there. And the spice is very, very well incorporated there, nothing too out there. It drinks a lot easier than a 5-year-old should, even at that 47% ABV, or 47.4% ABV. But yeah, very nice. I can tell this is going to be a very tough shootout video for sure. All right, on to an absolute classic in the Ardbeg 10-year-old. So we'll get in and have a look at that one there. Color-wise, you know, obviously the wee Beastie is going to have a little more play to it with that sherry cask influence. This is much more lighter, 100% bourbon. You know, you expect that. Let's get in on the nose and see what we can get out of the Ardbeg 10-year-old. Very fresh, very vanilla heavy, lemon, limes, that's those citrus notes, maybe some grapefruit in there too, some salty notes on there, some brine, seaweed, ash. It's more just campfire. There's no tobacco in there. It's a very, very clean and fresh aroma to it. Very good. All right, let's get in and see what we can get out of the taste here on the Ardbeg 10-year-old. So, Slàinte, to your health, and number 2. I know I've said clean. I'm going to say it again. Very clean dram. The peat is very much there. Very mouth coating. Peat forward on it, ashy campfire peat, maybe a little bit of like seaweed or something, you know, something kind of from the ocean in there, giving it that piece there. Maybe some like, you know, ashy driftwood that you've burned on the campfire overnight. You get that vanilla, icing sugar, confectioner sugar into that lemon, into that lime. A nice grassy note as well. Some earth from the peat as well. Salt. Very briny, much more like sea breeze than the first one. It's much more, you know, you're on the front of the boat and the sea breeze is crashing into the boat and it's kind of coming up into your face. Yeah, very, very clean and very, very nice. Both from a viscosity standpoint are both very mouth coating as well. At 46% and that at 10-year-old age stamp, drinks excellent, very good. All right. And last but not least, onto the one of my more underappreciated drams in the Ardbeg No. Again, comes in at 46.6% ABV. Ex first fill bourbon, new charred oak, and XPX sherry. And I mean, the color of this is very more darker than there's the Ardbeg 10 against it there, and even against the wee Beastie. You can definitely see the casks are playing a nice role in there. On the nose for the Ardbeg No. Very nice. Almost has a little bit of a almost like a balsamic vinegar note to it. That's something new. I haven't ever really described it as that. But I'm getting that. I'm getting some dark sour cherries, very dark cherries. Some brine on there as well. Some barbecue sauce. You know, some apple cider vinegar in the barbecue sauce. A little bit of like smoked meat, smoked ham maybe. A nice little fan on the end of some chocolate. There is some peat on there. The peat is much more of an earthy peat, not a campfire peat. Definitely has some more layers of complexity than the 10-year-old and the wee Beastie for sure. But you know what? I haven't had this in a while, probably since middle of summer, so looking forward to getting into it. So, Slàinte, to your health, and let's bring on number 3 of the Monsters of Smoke. Very nice. Cherries, chocolate, dark fruits. Get a little bit of vanilla on there, but not a whole ton of it. The peat is right in the middle, and it's a real dirty, earthy peat right in the middle. I'm getting that brine as well on the lips. Again, it's not sea spray. This is like, you know, this is just dirt. This is kind of dirty brine, you know, seaweed, and, you know, been hanging around in a bay, collecting there, and very salty on there. Dark chocolate, like very, very bitter, dark chocolate notes in there. And then there's a little bit of spice that I would say is probably coming in from those PX casks that are influencing it there. Really much a cinnamon, but very, very a heat cinnamon, almost like a cinnamon with like maybe a red chili flake or something like that, but very peppery. Yeah, very nice indeed. Oh, this is a tough one. You know, they're all great, number one. So, I mean, if you haven't had them, go out and get them. I would definitely recommend all of them. The one that's going to be tougher to get, I think, for if you're in Ontario, is going to be the Ano. Maybe even in the West too, and maybe in the US. It's tough to come by. I know that. People have told me that before. I'm going to go for one more sip of the wee Beastie, just to kind of re-reflect and go against the Ano and the 10-year-old. Okay. So, I mean, like, this is really tough. And it's like, you know, it's like trying to choose between your favorite child or something like that. They're all very, very good. I'm going to make a couple recommendations. So, if you haven't tried anything from Ardbeg, and you're just kind of getting into Ardbeg, I'm going to say go with the Ardbeg 10-year-old. It's an absolute classic. It's one you should have on your bar, regardless of if you're a newbie, if you're just getting into peat, if you're an experienced whiskey enthusiast. I think you need to have the Ardbeg 10 on your bar just because it is an absolute classic for sure. If you have already tried the Ardbeg 10-year-old and you're looking to get into something a little more out there, a little more complex, you're a more experienced whiskey enthusiast, then I'm going to go with the Ardbeg Ano. And if you can't get the Ardbeg Ano in your region, then I would say go with the Ardbeg Wee Beastie. The Ardbeg Wee Beastie is similar to the Ardbeg Ano, but not. It doesn't have nearly the layers of complexity. It doesn't have all that sherry cask influence or that new charred oak. It's much more muted. You know, I don't know what quality of cask they're using on the Wee Beastie. I imagine it's probably second fill bourbon and then maybe second fill sherry or maybe first fill sherry or whatnot. There's just not a whole ton of color going on there. The Wee Beastie, it has a place in my heart. You know, it's one of the first Ardbegs I had, and I think it's definitely worth your time. I think in my area it's just around, you know, $90 maybe or something like that, which is a far cry from the $120 for the Ardbeg 10-year-old, and even further cry from the 100 and change, maybe 150, I want to say, maybe for the Ardbeg Ano, maybe a little lower. But again, the Ardbeg Ano is tougher to get. So I would say if you're new to whiskey and new to Ardbeg, go get the Ardbeg 10-year-old. And if you can't get the Ardbeg Ano, then I would say go with the Ardbeg Wee Beastie on your bar. But anyways, you know, no one loses here, especially not me, because this has been a wicked shootout. And you know, I'm gonna wrap up my video with that. So thank you guys for tuning in for my review, my shootout of the Monsters of Smoke series. Honestly, a good excuse for me just to have some Ardbeg here, close to Halloween, and you know, kind of get that spooky motif going. But anyways, if you like what we're doing here at seawaywhiskywire, you guys know that drill. Like and subscribe down below, and hey, don't forget to check me out on Instagram at seawaywhiskywire. What is your favorite Ardbeg? What is your favorite whiskey to drink on Halloween if the kids are coming around trick-or-treating, or you know, heck, if you're just sitting around having some chocolate or whatnot and you're having a dram, what are you having? I'd love to hear from you guys. And if you're still hanging around at this point, guys, thank you very much. Really appreciate you guys hanging out and supporting the channel. And yeah, love coming down here on a cold fall day in the Seaway here and pouring myself some big, powerful Monsters of Smoke drams here, and just having a great time. So thank you for that. I'm gonna grab the Ardbeg Ano because it's one of my more favorite ones, and I do think it is very underappreciated. I wish people would pay more attention to it, and you know, maybe this is another cry for that on this video, but you know, honestly, any of these would be a great dram to have. So, Slanja, to your health, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now, guys.